In this video, we're going to see how to create bar charts, column charts, and pie charts, and we're going to compare them. For this, we're going to use data file accounts managed. So here I have the list of the name of some managers that are working in a company, and I have for each manager, I have the number of accounts that are under the supervision of each one of them, right? So I have the name of the managers, the number of accounts managed by each one of them. Whenever we are comparing, categorical variable, and comparing different members of the category, or comparing different categories, or comparing different members of a categorical variable, we use column chart, we use bar chart, or we can also use pie chart under certain conditions. So for this one, I'm going to start by creating a bar chart first, and then we will convert it to a column chart, and we also change it to pie chart and compare them. So for this, I'm going to highlight both columns, column A and columns A and B, and then I'll go to the Insert tab, and I need to pick here under the column or bar chart. The difference between column and bar chart in Excel is that the bars are horizontal bars and columns are vertical bars, basically. So one is vertical, the other is horizontal. That's the only difference between these two. So I'm gonna start with I can start with a column or a bar. I'm just gonna start with a bar, and then we do exactly the same thing with the column chart. So this is a bar chart, but I need to clean this thing. I need to, again, get rid of the grid lines, and I need to add, so what do we need? So here we have the names of the managers. We need to change the chart title. I mean, this is not this is not really representative of what we're doing, what this graph is showing. This should be informative. It's not right now. I need to add, I may need to add data labels and if I add data labels, you see here, it's hard to see the number of accounts managed under Edward. So if I just get rid of this and add data label, that may make much more sense. Data label 11. So if I do that, I'm gonna get rid of the horizontal axis. For that, I just click on it, select it, press delete. It's gonna get rid of it. So now I have it. I still need to have the axis title. Maybe for this one, you may, depending on who's gonna read this graph, if you can have a more informative chart title, you may wanna remove this. These may be, already familiar to the reader, so you may wanna just get rid of this one. If not, you may put this manager here. This would be number of accounts managed, and here would be number of accounts managed for managers in, let's say, accounting department, right? Yeah, I mean, you may want to come up with a shorter name, but I'm just gonna go with this one. All right. What else? How can we make this graph a little nicer, a little easier for the reader to read? If you look here, the numbers are all over the place. I have like 37 in between. So when I look at this, I have to look at the bars, identify the longest bar, and then come here, look at the name, right? Who's the manager with the least number of account? Again, I need to identify the smallest one and then look at the name in front of it. Same thing. Uh, I mean, this is a little bit disorganized. If I want to make it a little more organized, a little more a little easier for the reader to understand and read it, what I can do, I can sort these bars. In order to sort the bars, you need to sort the source. You need to sort here, the table. So for that, I'm gonna filter, and then I'm gonna largest to smallest or smallest to largest. This will make it much nicer for the reader to read and understand this bar chart. You can do exactly the same thing for the column chart. Again, you can select both columns, insert, column chart. Column charts, you can do exactly the same thing. It's already sorted, so you see it clean, nice. You may want to add a label here. You may want to change it to data labels, get rid of this access, same thing that we just did. Or you may want to basically convert this graph. This is also something that you can do. You can click here under the design tab. You can click on the change chart type and just change it to a column chart, for example. All those changes that you made on the axis title, on the graph, they will be all sorted. It's not coming up 100% right, but let's just change it a little bit. Yeah, seems much nicer. So this is also something that you can do. So this is a column chart, column versus bar chart. This is perfect when we want to compare different categories, different members of a group in terms of a quantitative factor, in terms of a factor, in terms of a variable that takes number. So these are basically the graphs that we use. Another chart that we can use for comparison would be the pie chart. I'm just gonna go ahead and select both columns, insert. This time we're gonna do a pie chart or donut chart. I'm just gonna do, they're logically the same. The difference is just in terms of the shapes. They create the same thing, basically. I'm gonna go with the pie chart here, and I'm just gonna put it on top of this one. Now, I wanna ask you guys, when we compare these two graphs, which one of these two you think is more appropriate? I want you to think about it. I would say this one, actually, you can take, let me just see how this works. So we can get rid of the, I may want to add data labels and get rid of the legend and just update the data labels, just format data label and add the category name, right? And then data label, you may want to put the data label instead of inside, you may want to put it I mean, outside at the end. And then if you do that, you may want to get rid of the legend. You may click here and delete, or you may want to uncheck it from here. That might be a better graph, and it's already sorted again, 37, 29. I just sorted it for the previous graph. But so this is, I think, the cleanest pie chart that we can have. Now, when we compare these two, the column chart or bar chart versus the pie chart, which one you think is more appropriate? Just think about it. I'm just going to tell you something here in terms of the pie chart. Pie charts are more appropriate whenever we have uh, low number of groups, low number of categories that we are comparing, low number of categories, usually up to 5, up to 6, 5, 3 to 5, and maybe 2 to 6, 2 to 5, low number of categories. And also when these categories are when we have basically these categories together make a whole system, make a whole population. If that is not the case, pie chart, the percentage that you see on the pie chart may not be, and the share that you see here, the slice that you see here, is not truly representative of this category. Right, so if you know that this list that we have here is complete, this graph might be acceptable, even though I mean, it's too many items already here. We have 8, which is a little bit larger than the maximum number of categories that we accept, but that's still okay. If we know that these guys are basically the whole list of the managers in the company. If not, if this is a sample, this is not a good graph. This is not a good. When we have, when categories make a whole system together. So this is when pie chart is appropriate when we have low number of categories, usually less than 6 categories, and when categories make a whole together, meaning that we have the full list of categories. If we have just 2 out of 10, pie chart is not the best, right? Because the slice that you see here is not actually, all of it does not belong to that group. We have others that are not presented here in this graph.